overview of where you can look at your costs for your OpenAI API usage. And I am looking specifically at GPT-4o versus GPT-4o-mini because there's a huge difference. And I obviously, well, for myself, obviously made many more requests to GPT-4o in the month of September because I was testing over 200 websites for multiple runs with each of them producing a very specific output. And then I only made 451 requests on the same day to GPT-4o-mini. But look at the cost comparison over here. So if we look at those same two things, right? And we're talking about the project LeadGen's AI Arc. So for GPT-4o, I spent $60 for almost 2,000 calls to the API with a ton of tokens. I was probably abusing how many tokens I was running through. But then for GPT-4o-mini, it was 3 cents. So I had 2,000 API calls with quite a big amount of tokens each, especially the output tokens, for $60. And then about 500 for 0.03 cents. So if I were to be able to get GPT-4o to perform the same way as GPT-4o-mini for the 2000, it would be like less than 50 cents, right? So 500, so this would be 500 4 times for the amount of calls that I made. And this is about 500 calls. So 0.03 times 4 would be for 12 cents. Just to give you a perspective, I was not able to, at the time, get the same prompts I had already really mastered with GPT-4o to produce the same outputs with Mini. But considering the cost difference, as I pick up more clients and more websites, I will definitely start putting more effort into Mini. Not just because it is, I mean, how many fractions of a penny per call compared to this one, right? But also because it's a much smaller carbon footprint or usage of electricity. So just because, we all love Mother Earth and we're doing the best we can for it, just thought I'd put that out there so people can get an idea of what it looks like. Oh, and if you want to see what one call to the API might look like, here is an example website. So all of this content right here, all of this content right here is an example of one of the calls for the API. All right.